Boy. And the question is, why does this kind of thing happen? Well, the Bible tells us. In 1 Corinthians 7:28, if you marry, you have not sinned, but you will have trouble. If you marry, you have not sinned, but you will have trouble. Many people don't pay attention to that verse. Did you know that God has designed conflict and trouble? In fact, every text has a context. Verse 28, if you read before that, at the beginning of 1 Corinthians 7, you read this: the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. What's he talking about? He's talking about fulfilling the duty that you have to the other. Well, what's that mean? Sexually. He's talking about sexual intimacy. That each has a duty, a responsibility to fulfill the other's sexual needs. The husband does not have authority over his own sexual body, but the wife does. The wife does not have authority over her own sexual body, but the husband does. And I'm saying, Lord, because I studied the Bible 30 hours a week for nearly 20 years, and I'm going to share some things with you that I've seen in Scripture that I think will encourage you. But I'm meditating on that verse, and I'm saying, Lord, there's a mutual authority here. It's kind of like there's equal say here when it comes to sexual intimacy. I mean, Lord, kind of like on Tuesday night, does he decide that they're going to have sex, or does she decide that they're not going to have sex? And the Lord said, yes. I said, well, Lord, have you designed trouble? Yes. If you marry, you have not sinned, but you will have trouble. Tuesday night is coming. And it's an issue of preferences. It's not talking about intrinsic evil. Romans 14 talks about preferences. Some thought this day was holy, some thought that day was holy. Some could eat meat, some couldn't. And Paul says, quit judging one another. This is the gray area of life where people make decisions based on preferences, based on personal convictions. But we can't say, because your decision is different from mine, therefore what you've decided is morally wrong. It's just different. The person's not wrong, they're just different. And as I looked at this, I began to think about different verses. And Jesus said in Matthew 19, have you not read? He who made them from the beginning, made them male and female. Well, apparently many then hadn't read Genesis, which he was referring to, as well as today. Have you not read? He who made them from the beginning, made them male and female. What's Jesus saying? Well, he's saying a number of things, but one of those things he is saying is he made us male and female. In other words, he made us different. And she's not wrong because she's not a male, and he's not wrong because he's not a female. Not wrong, just different. I liken it to this. She wears pink sunglasses, and it colors what she sees. She has pink hearing aids, and it affects what she hears. And she speaks through a pink megaphone. And she expects everybody to know what she means but what she says because her girlfriends do. He has blue sunglasses, and it colors what he sees. He has blue hearing aids, and it affects what he hears, and he speaks through a blue megaphone, and he expects everybody to know what he means by what he says because all of his buddies do. Now, forgive the pink and blue stereotype. That's not the point. The point is, pink's not wrong for not being blue, and blue's not wrong for not being pink. It's an illustration just to bring the fact home that we are different, not wrong. Unless you can say there is a clear evil going on, and there is evil. There's adultery, there is violence, there are those things. But that's not my frame of reference. My frame of reference is this day in and day out experience where we have these misunderstandings. And we're reading into things based on our own gender in many ways, and it kind of flares up. And as I was meditating in the New Testament, I came across a pink and blue verse that blew me away. And it's dealing with marriage. In fact, it is probably God's last word to the church on marriage, and it's a pink and blue verse. Ephesians is a letter that was written to this church at Ephesus, and as Paul's writing on parchment, we later put chapter and verse to this, but he comes to a section that deals with marriage, Ephesians 5, and that's the chapter we made. And then there was a verse 33, which is the summary